and welcome to another episode of Books, Beer and Wine. This is our second episode of Books, Beer and Wine, and today we want to recommend one of our last reads and one of our new favorite books because we really thought it's amazing. And this is Brit Bennett's Vanishing Half. The Vanishing Half?
The Vanishing Half.
The Vanishing Half. But first, cheers. And Brit Bennett, the book The Vanishing Half is, when was it published? 2020.
Yeah, it's set in the 1940s to 90s.
In the US, in a small city in the US. And it's got quite a lot of topics that it deals with. Most importantly, identity, origin, family, relationships, love and family relationships. And of course race and racism, which makes it a very important book. That's always a topic to read about and to educate yourself about.
So it's about two identical twins who grow up in a small town in Louisiana, in a fictional small town in Louisiana, and they are black. And I think when they are 14 or 15, maybe 15 or 16, they decide to run away from home, go to New Orleans and start a new life.
Mm-hmm.
And that life isn't very easy for them, and it's the turning point for the entire plot. And from there on, one of the sisters goes living as a white woman because their skin color is so light, they pass as white. And so the entire story spans 3 generations. So we learn quite a lot about the parents of these twins, particularly about their mother, and we also learn about their daughters.
And this makes this book so special because it is, therefore it has lots of different perspectives to look at the same story or the same family, and that makes it so interesting. We both loved this book and we highly recommend it. It's one of the must-reads.
It was one of the must-read anti-racism books.
Yes, definitely. And because it shows in very different ways that race is a social construct.
Yeah.
And that was very well done on different parts of the story.
Yeah.
And
so it wasn't obvious.
No.
So Brit Bennett didn't choose the obvious ways to point that out, and I think that's why we liked it so much.
Exactly. Because very often you find yourself surprised when you read it, and then therefore it gets more clear, so to speak. And we also loved it because it shows the struggle of race, and with all its problems associated with it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, particularly here, the time span is very interesting.
Yes.
Whereas 1940s US to 1990s US, there were many, many changes in that time frame, and you can really see how everything changes and what it does and what changes and what doesn't, even though it's supposed to change.
And that some things stay the same,
Yeah.
which makes this book so relevant.
Yeah.
Yes, and there are lots of amazing characters in this book. I liked lots of characters. That's not often the case when I read books, but I really like them all. No. Well, not all, but most of them.
Yeah,
I
most
like
of them. Yeah, and even so, and those characters I didn't like, I could at least understand. So I could understand why they were acting the way they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were really well crafted, I would say. Yeah.
Yes. And I think we both have the same favorite character.
Yes, we do.
So for us, it's definitely the daughter of the twin.
So, who lives a black life?
Yes.
Let's say who lives a black life.
And her daughter is our favorite character.
Yeah. So, she's a very independent woman, and she's
determined. Not determined. Determined.
Yeah. And she's incredibly open-minded.
Yes.
So I think we can say there is a trans character in that book, and what we liked a lot about this character, it wasn't about his struggles, it was just a character, so something what would just happen in everyday life. So probably all of us have met at some point a trans person, and to not have a trans person or a gay person, so there are gay people as well.
Yes.
I don't think we had lesbians or...
No, we didn't. But he's
Yeah.
just part of the story.
Yeah.
That's it. And we liked that about it,
Yeah.
because it wasn't that he was the focus of the story at one point, because he's a trans person.
Yeah.
It was just he's part of the story, and that
Yeah.
makes it so a good and great read. And because I think that's not happening very often
No.
in novels, that if there is a trans character, that the focus is not... It's a rare thing to have novels, particular. It's a rare thing in mainstream novels to have a trans character.
Yeah. Or to have, I would even say maybe to have a LGBTQ plus character and not have their coming out story at the center of the story.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that was what I wanted to say. Yes,
Yeah.
so that's another very big plus point for this
Yeah.
book by Brit Bennett.
Yeah.
So, go to your next independent bookstore.
Yeah, independent bookstore. Don't buy from the big ones.
The big ones have enough money already.
Yeah.
So
support your
your local
bookstore. Yeah.
And please buy this book and read it.
Yeah.
And we
let us know what you think.
Love to know what you think. Yeah. Let us know in the comments somewhere below.
Have a great week and see you next time.
Bye
Bye.